Hello, my name is David Edler. I'm the engineering manager for the LXD UI, and today I'm pleased to present to you the LXD 6.2 release. In this video, I will show you the release notes, then I will show some of the features, and then my colleagues will show you some more of the features, but we'll focus only on the UI. Even though, now in the beginning, I will also mention the core features that have been added. First things first, there's a ton of new features in this release. And one change that has been done is the snap track for the 6.x release series. So you can run this command to refresh LXD and start tracking the 6/stable channel. And that means you will receive automatically future feature releases. So 6.2 you will get now, and later automatically LXD will update on this channel to 6.3, 6.4 as soon as they come available. And a reminder below that the current LTS series for LXD is 521 stable. So if you only want to receive security updates, that's the channel that you should track, 521/stable. This one here. And with that, you would miss out the cool new features, but you would still receive security updates. Now let's jump right in. What are the new features in the core of LXD? Is iGPU pass-through, which has been enabled for NVIDIA GPUs. This is also a feature coming to the UI with 6.2. You can configure GPU pass-through to instances. Improved virtual machine conversion from external disk images. This is also something that we have enabled in the UI. I will show this in just a minute. And then fine-grained access management for TLS authenticated clients. We have fine-grained access management for OIDC clients. So if you use an external OIDC provider, you can configure the permissions in the fine-grained way. We also improved that a little bit with 6.2. What is not in 6.2 is the TLS authenticated client permission management in the UI. For now, it's only available in the command line and in the API. We're currently working on this, and I'm pretty sure this will be ready for 6.3 to be included in the UI as well. And then, a couple of other features in the core itself, which are not so much relevant for the UI. We'll just scroll over them until we reach the UI features themselves. You can read the release notes later on. They're publicly available on the Ubuntu discourse. And you can see it's a lot of things. It's a lot of features and improvements and fixes that have been dropped with 6.2. So the UI advancements, we have a rich amount of new features. The first thing I already mentioned, extended instance creation in the UI. You can import external formats. You can import VMDK files, QCOW files in LXD UI directly. You just upload them and they become available as an instance. You can start it and interact with it, or run workloads in it. And you can also import backup files, and you can back up instances directly in the UI. So you can download, get a file for an instance, and then you can upload it later. So you can basically migrate an instance from one LXD server to another completely in the UI, or in the UI of those two servers. There's a couple of new instance actions: migration to a different storage pool, to a different cluster member, creation of an image from an instance, duplicating instances, exporting an instance's local backup file, as I already mentioned. There's also a couple of new features that you can, new configuration options to configure instances and profiles, like all different device types. I already mentioned GPU configuration is available. Disk and network have been available before, but we've improved it a little bit. Proxy devices can be configured, and all the other devices that LXD supports, like TPM devices, USB, pass-through, and others. And some on storage volumes, we also have new actions similar to instance actions. You can migrate storage volumes and you can duplicate them. Some updates to Semiotics. Our designer will have a few words later about this. And then, finally, last but not least, permission improvements. We improved the UX a little bit when configuring fine-grained permissions, which is already possible since a while. So now let's jump right in. This is the UI. I just installed it You can see it's version 6.2, UI tag 014. And let's start with creating an instance. The screen looks similar to before. You see here you have the different devices listed. This is new. Before these were only 2 sections. We have boot options, which is new, and yeah, some other smaller changes. But what I want to show now is uploading an instance file. What does that entail? Like I said, you can upload an LXD backup archive, so you can export an instance and then import it. But for now, the first thing I want to show is external format, so VMDK or qco import. You need to choose a file. I have prepared here a local Ubuntu virtual machine disk image. I've selected different root storage pool, my directory storage pool, which is a little faster than the ZFS one. And I will disable the convert to raw format because it is already raw format, as you can learn here. This can be skipped if it is already a raw format, and the virtual drivers I can also skip because this is mandatory if the drivers are not, if the image does not include the drivers, but in our case, the drivers are already part of that. So let's start the upload progress. We can see how quickly the bytes are going to the LXD server. We need to witness this because the browser is not uploading the file. So that's why the screen is blocking the user completely. And yeah, it gives you an insight into what's happening. Takes a couple of seconds. It's very fast because my LXD server is just on localhost. So as soon as this is finished, I will be unblocked and I can start using the UI. But for now, I just want to show you. Yeah, there will be success. Okay, upload completed. Now I could go do something else because there's a background operation in progress in LXD server that is, for this case, it's just transferring the instance and it's already finished. If you select a conversion to raw format, that would happen here and it would take a couple of minutes. Installing the virtual IO drivers as well would take a while. And yeah, we can see the image here. I can quickly rename it to Noble Numbed. And yeah, we can configure it on the, that's a bit special for the uploads. You cannot configure the instance directly during creation, but right after creation, you can jump right in. For instance, resource limits, probably you want to raise them from 1 core. Let's say we want 4 cores on this one, and for memory, probably we want 4 gigabytes, not just 1. And yeah, that concludes my presentation of the import. And I will now hand over to my colleague Nikiruka. Thank you.
Let's have a look at moving and copying storage volumes in LXD 6.2. So on my volumes list, I'm going to take my custom storage volume and click on it. And I can duplicate this volume into another storage pool or into the same storage pool. So we can set our volume name. I'm going to change the storage pool to test pool, but I'll keep the target project the same. We can also specify whether or not we would like to copy with snapshots included. Let's click on duplicate. And my new volume has been created. Here it is. It will also appear in our volumes list and is in test pool. Similarly, if I go back to custom volume, I can migrate this volume to a different storage pool as well. Currently, it is in the default storage pool. However, I'm going to put it in the test pool as well with its duplication. This might take a while. Success. Custom storage volume has successfully been migrated to test pool. And just to double check, we can go to our pools and see which volumes are inside. And here we have custom volume and custom volume duplicate. That's all. Let's look at instance and profile overview pages in LXD 6.2. So when we navigate to an instance, if we scroll down a little, not only can we still see our networks as before, but we now have an expanded section dedicated to all of the devices that are included in that instance. And similarly, if we navigate to any of our profiles, we can also see a list of the devices, as well as their name, type, and some key details about them. Naturally, before you can configure the devices through the configurations tab and add devices as necessary. That's all. Let's have a look at migrating instances from one storage pool to another in LXD 6.2. So if we click on my instance, we can open up the side panel, which gives us a brief summary of the instance details. And here we can see that the root storage pool is default. However, if I would like to move my instance across storage pools for one reason or another, I can navigate to my instance overview page, navigate to the top right-hand corner, and click on Migrate. From here, I can select any of the storage pools that I already have and move it to them. So I'm going to select A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We'll have our confirmation and we can migrate. Success. The instance is now in the ABCDEFG pool. And if I navigate to that pool and to the volumes that are here, I can see it right here. And just to double check, I can go back to my instances list, to my instance summary, and verify that the root storage pool is what I have changed it to. And that's all. Let's have a look at making images from instances on LXD 6.2. So first, I will navigate towards my instance and then to the top right-hand corner where I can click on Create Image. From here, I can set an alias for my image. Let's keep this the same. And I could also set a flag to make the image publicly available, i.e. to make it available to other users on our server. I'm going to keep it at this for now. When I click on Create Image, LXD will take a few seconds to work its magic and generate a task image. Success. We can navigate to the image either through the success notification or through the images list. And here we have it. This is the image we just generated with its alias. However, we can also identify our image through its upload date and time as well. And that's all. Hi, everyone. Let's talk about duplicating instances in LXD 6.2. I have a test instance right here. And I can click on Duplicate and specify a new instance name, a new storage pool for the duplicated instance, and even a new target project for the new duplicated instance. Additionally, there are some flags that I can set, such as ignoring copy errors for volatile files, copying without including or persisting instance snapshots, and copying whilst maintaining the state of the instance. I'm going to keep most of these the same for now. Let's change the storage pool. But when I click Duplicate, I can see my success message and I can navigate either through the success message or through the instances list to my new instance. And that's it. That's how you duplicate instances in LXD 6.2. Let's have a look at exporting instances as local backup files in LXD 6.2. So I'm going to navigate to my instance and to the top right-hand corner where I can click on the export button. And what this will do is download a tarball version of the instance so that we can use it for sending to other people or recreating instances. And I'm going to do just that. I'm going to go back to my instances list page, click on create an instance, and click on upload instance file. From here, I can select the tarball that I've just downloaded. I can change the name of the instance. So let's call it instance from tar. And I can also change the storage pool. Let's upload and create. And after a few seconds, we've got our instance from tar and we can verify that it is in the default storage pool. That's all.
Now, similarly to what you can now do with instances in 6.2, you can also migrate and duplicate custom storage volumes. So to demonstrate that, you see I have this storage volume here, which is in a specific pool. I can click migrate and choose the new pool that I want that storage volume to move to, and click migrate. And after a moment of processing, we can see the storage volume has been moved to the new pool that I wanted it to be in. We also have a duplication feature. So if I want to create another copy of the storage volume, I can click duplicate. I can choose what name I want the duplicate to have. I can even choose which pool I want the duplicate to be in and which project. And I can choose whether I want to copy over the snapshots and click duplicate. And after a little bit of processing, we can see this duplicate has been created. Another thing we're really excited to bring you in version 6.2 is overhauled use of icons. So as you can see in the left-hand navigation side panel, we have updated and refreshed almost all of the icons that are being used here, just to bring some more consistency into the UI. We've established patterns that tell us what icons should be used to correspond to what types of entities throughout the UI. Along with that, we've also implemented this new system of what we're calling chips. So whenever an entity appears in any page other than the page that describes that entity, we wrap it in a chip that tells you this is a link to another entity in LXD. So for example, if you look at your notifications inside of LXD, such as those for this instance here, you can see the notifications that mention that instance have a little chip for that instance. And the icon in the chip matches the icon that we use for all instances. And the same will be true for profiles and networks and so on.
For the UI in LXD 6.2, we have enabled additional device type configurations support for proxy, GPU, and other devices. To demonstrate this, I have set up an example instance of the VM type. In order to add a GPU device to the instance, we can go to the instance detail page, select the configuration tab, go to the GPU tab, and simply select attach GPU. On my machine, there's actually two GPU devices, graphics card that's already been detected by LXD. You can simply select one of them to add it as a device to the instance, or you can enter the details manually for the GPU device by specifying the ID of the GPU or the PCI address. In this case, I will add the GPU by simply selecting the detected NVIDIA graphics card. Select, save changes, and there you go, you have a GPU attached to your instance as a GPU device. To add a proxy device, which allows you to proxy traffic between your instance and the host, you can simply say, add new proxy device. Here, we will bind the proxy device to the host, enable NAP mode because the instance is a VM. We'll allow TCP connection on listening on the host. For the address, you should specify the address on the host that you would like to listen on, which should coincide with your instance IPv4 address. Select, specify a port for the listen address. Then connect to your instance IPv4 address. And decide on a port that you would like to receive the traffic from the host on your instance. Once you're done specifying the details, simply save. And now you have a proxy device on the instance, which will allow you to receive traffic on the instance from the host. We have also introduced many other devices that are custom device. You can select from a range of device types, for example, InfiniBand, PCI, TPM, and USB. In this case, since the instance is a virtual machine, we will demonstrate by setting up a USB device. The USB device, you will have to specify the bus number and all of these type of things, but the required fields are vendor ID and product ID. And then once you're done, you can simply save changes, and now you have a USB device from your host machine that is attached to the instance as a device. To review all the devices that you have created for the instance, you can simply go to the overview page, scroll down a little bit, go to the devices section, and you can see that you have the GPU, the proxy, and the USB custom device created for this instance. Permissions management in LXD has existed since LXD 5.21 release. For LXD 6.2, we have introduced significant improvements in the workflow in terms of permission management in the UI. To demonstrate this, I have created an example OIDC identity and added to the current LXD installation. To set up the permissions for this OIDC identity, you would simply go to the Groups tab, create a new group, allocate a new name, assign it to the OIDC user, and then set up the actual permissions for this group so that they will become effective for this identity. We have also introduced new functionalities in the permission selectors, where you can search for specific resource types, and you can search for entitlements as well. And once done creating the permission, simply add it to the group. And if you're happy with the current permission set for this group, simply select Create Group. Once the group is created, the permissions would be allocated to the identity through the group. Thank you very much, and I hope this has been helpful.